Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into two totally different ways of understanding the world around us. On one hand, you've got the modern science we all know, and on the other, a path of inner experience that ancient Indian traditions call Rishi intelligence.
So let's just jump right in. We see AI getting smarter and smarter, beating us at chess, writing code, doing all these logical things we thought were uniquely human. It really makes you wonder, what are we for? What's the ultimate potential of our own natural intelligence?
Well, ancient traditions from India offer a pretty wild answer. They basically say that our peak intelligence isn't about being a faster calculator. No, it's a completely different league, a state of deep, direct awareness they called Rishi intelligence.
And this is where it gets kind of mind-bending. These ancient sages, the rishis, they made claims that sound like they're straight out of a modern textbook. They talked about atoms, the vastness of the cosmos, the inner workings of biology, all supposedly without any of the tools we think are necessary today.
But that brings up the most obvious and important question. It's the one a good skeptic would ask. How did they know, right? It's easy to say you know about atoms, but if you can't show me the microscope, if you can't show me the lab, why should I believe you? This is really the core of what we need to figure out.
Okay, so to really get what they were doing, let's first establish a baseline with the system we all know and trust, the path of modern science.
Science, as you know, follows a very clear, logical process. You come up with an idea, a hypothesis, you test it, and this is the crucial part. You actively try to prove it wrong. You look for the cracks. Knowledge is built piece by piece by constantly challenging our own ideas and seeing what holds up. And the whole thing is built on this one big idea: separation. To be objective, the scientist, the subject, has to be separate from the thing being studied, the object. That distance is seen as absolutely essential to avoid any bias. So, naturally, the toolkit for science is all about stuff outside of us. We use telescopes and microscopes to see farther and smaller than our eyes can. We use math and logic to make sense of all the data we collect. It's an incredible system for understanding a universe of objects that are out there.
All right, now let's switch gears completely. The path of Rishi intelligence takes that entire model and just flips it on its head. It suggests that the deepest way of knowing doesn't start by looking out there, but by looking in here. So back to that question, where's your lab? The Rishi's answer was basically this. The most advanced laboratory you could ever imagine is the human system itself. And the most sensitive instrument for exploring reality? It's your own consciousness when it's sharpened to a point.
Their method, their science, was a very precise and repeatable inner technique called samyama. And this isn't just, sitting and thinking pleasant thoughts. It's described as a full-on technology of consciousness that unfolds in 3 distinct stages. What's so cool here is the progression. It starts with something we can all relate to, dharana, which is just concentrating on one thing. Now, if you can hold that focus until it's totally effortless, it becomes dhyana, or meditation. But the final step, samadhi, that's where things get really interesting. It's a state where the boundary between you, the observer, and it, the thing you're observing, just dissolves.
Think about what that actually means. To know a plant, you don't just cut it open and analyze its cells. You merge your consciousness with it. In that state, you don't just know about the plant. You experience reality as the plant. You feel its thirst. You feel its connection to the earth. You feel it reaching for the sun. The knowledge isn't data you collect. It's a direct, living experience. So what we're really talking about here are 2 fundamentally different ways of knowing reality. One is built on separation, and the other is built on unity. This chart just lays it out perfectly. On the one hand, modern science. It relies on objective duality, using external tools to analyze things from a distance. On the other hand, Rishi intelligence. It's all about subjective unity, using the internal tool of consciousness to become one with the thing you want to understand. When you boil it down, science tries to understand the universe by breaking it into smaller and smaller pieces. The Rishi method
tries to understand the universe by experiencing the whole thing all at once in a single moment of total absorption. And this difference in approach leads to a really crucial final point: the difference between knowledge, which gives us power, and wisdom, which tells us how to use it. I mean, there's no denying it, right? Science has given us unbelievable power. We can build skyscrapers, cure diseases, fly to the moon. Science is amazing at showing us what we can do. But here's the catch. That power doesn't come with an instruction manual. The very same nuclear physics that can light up an entire city can also be used to destroy it. Science gives you the tool, but it doesn't tell you what to build.
This is where Rishi intelligence comes in. Its goal isn't just to create a powerful tool, but to cultivate a wise user. It's focused on creating the inner clarity and stability needed to handle power responsibly, for the good of everyone.
And this matters so much right now. Just look around. We are the most technologically advanced and physically comfortable civilization in history, all thanks to science. And yet, we're also seeing huge crises in mental health, stress, anxiety, a feeling of being lost. Science is great at telling us what we can do, but it often leaves us asking why. So maybe the takeaway here isn't about choosing one path over the other. What if they're not competitors, but partners? Perhaps real, true progress for humanity means combining the incredible external power of science with the deep internal wisdom of inner intelligence. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As our technology gets more and more powerful, science will keep showing us all the incredible things we can do. But the bigger question remains: what is it that's going to show us what we should do?